Whoever needs to hear this needs to know awakening is not a destination, but a journey inward where every question reveals a deeper layer of truth. The moment you stop searching for answers is when the universe whispers them to you in silence. True awakening is when you realize the path you've been walking is one you've been paving all along. What do we have at the foundation of the reading for Sag? The world. Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius energy at the foundation of the reading, Sag. The past few days, I've been collecting downloads for this reading, and one of the themes that's really been coming through strongly is the need for inner child healing at this moment, because it's going to be what allows you to step into this new timeline. And this is typically always going to be the case. We access new beginnings, we access new chapters in our life by healing and sacrificing. This is how it always goes. You heal the things inside of you that may have been holding you back, that may have been telling you that you're not good enough for something specific, or you sacrifice things that are no longer in alignment with your highest good, whether it's behavioral patterns, people, addictions, geographical locations. It can show up in many different ways. But what I'm getting here for you, Sag, is really putting a focus on this inner child healing. Now, right around the time that I started to get these downloads, sure enough, I started to have things come into my orbit in regards to inner child healing. And I came across something that I found quite powerful. It was an individual who had written a letter to themselves, to their inner child, and it just about reduced me to tears. After a bit of research, I came to find out that this is actually a trend that people do. So I decided to do it myself, and I gotta say, Sag, it was one of the most healing, powerful things I have personally ever done when it comes to healing these parts of you. So I came to realize that all of these messages were for you because, again, it's going to be the necessary component to stepping into some sort of new beginning, something that you've been moving towards. And I feel that there's been a little bit of resistance there. There's this transformation that is emanating from your heart space, Sag. There's something you really want here. But in order to do this, I feel like you need to change your approach. See, a lot of the times when we're going through the awakening process, we think that we're supposed to become somebody else, right? But spiritual growth isn't about becoming someone new. It's actually about remembering who you truly are beneath the layers of doubt, okay? Which really highlights what I'm saying here about the shadow work, this inner child healing. And this world card at the foundation of the reading is going to be the result of all of that. This is you now completing a cycle in your life based on some of the things I've been saying, which then allows you to move forward into this new season of your life. And I have the Ace of Pentacles. Wow. Okay, so I have the Ace of Pentacles right here, which is this blessing. There's something that you're going towards. Now, it could be many things, but let's just say it falls under the umbrella of a vision that you have for something. So that's going to be different for all of you. And what this is something that's in alignment with your highest good. It's something that the divine wants to bless you with because it's actually all a part of your purpose. So in saying that, it's written into your mission statement. It's supposed to be yours. But this cycle that you've been in has been leading to a lot of self-doubt. It's been making you feel, it's like it's been making you feel less than, like you almost don't deserve this. But this Ten of Swords is you bringing this ending to this cycle and stepping into this new beginning and turning this vision into, well, it's like turning a vision into your reality. That's what the magician is. It's when you have all four elements by way of the divine. And this is the result of your healing. Ace of Swords. So we have two aces right there. And then Queen of Wands, which is your energy. Okay, so victory, self-mastery, Queen of Swords, being very honest with yourself about the healing. And, okay, I just heard, and your approach to something. Okay, let's keep going here. Right as I said that as well, my ears equalized. So releasing, wow. When that happens, it puts a lot of impact behind this energy, okay? It's interesting because I was talking about my ears equalizing, and then the Queen of Swords came back out, right? So when I see it in a cluster of cards and it comes out, it really puts impact behind this energy. There's something here that you need, or let me rephrase that. There's something here that the divine wants you to be honest with yourself about in regards to this new beginning. It's basically saying that something needs to be sacrificed. Something needs to be healed. It could be both. It's going to be different for all of you, but it's one of those two things, always. See, the awakening journey, ascension, again, it's healing and sacrifice. We arrive into these timelines, right? We're incarnated into these timelines, and we're essentially ready to go as soon as we're born. It's our environments that we're born into that shackles us down, right? We're born into these kinds of matrices, and everything that happens in our everyday waking lives piles up on us, energetically speaking. And as we get older, we start to realize this, and this is when you start to go through the awakening journey. You start to realize that the path you've been on is maybe not in alignment with your highest good, or there's people that have been a bad influence in your life, or you've been engaging with things in your everyday waking life that have nothing to do with your purpose, your destiny here. And this is every single one of us. We all deal with this. It's as if we're birthed into these kinds of mazes, right? The matrix. And we have to find our way through. But the first thing we have to do is actually wake up to the fact that we're born lost. And we have to find our way back home, which can just be another way of speaking about finding our way back to our connection with Source as a means to find out enough of our mission, our purpose, to get functioning inside of that space. Okay, now we're going into some serious depth here, Sag, so I'll try and pull it back up to the surface a bit with this Queen of Swords. As you can see, this Queen of Swords is looking directly at the world. So the world is you stepping through this new portal, right? That new beginning, that new chapter, that new season, that new timeline. That's representing all of that. But there's something here with this Queen of Swords where it's saying to you, listen, you can't take this with you. This has to change in order to pull this off. And it's almost like you've been trying to make it work without the sacrifice or without the healing. And that is definitely some shadow Sag energy. We all have shadow energies that we're constantly in opposition with. And it's typically us being in opposition with ourself, with our own shadow. Our shadow just wants to be hugged and nurtured and healed. Our shadow is not bad. It just needs some guidance. It just needs some love. And sometimes you can have a tendency to think that these things that need healing or need love inside of you, Sag, won't make a difference on your path forward, which is why this Queen of Swords is saying, hey, look, you can keep trying this over and over again, but until you do it the way that we're telling you to do it, Sag, you're not going to get the breakthrough. You are just wasting your time. And I absolutely resonate with this. I have a lot of Sag in my chart. And I got to tell you that the things in my life that gave me the biggest breakthroughs were the things that I definitely made up excuses for at one point on my path and wasted a lot of time when I could have just focused on these things and plucked them out for good and gotten the breakthrough much sooner. And this is exactly what I'm getting here for all of you Sages, however that resonates for you. And then I have the Five of Cups and the Nine of Wands right here. So this Five of Cups, it's like the divine saying to you, hey, this is what you have to do, Sag. You don't listen, so you keep trying it your way, and it's not working out. And it's almost like, why isn't the universe listening to me? I feel like the universe has forgotten about me. And the universe is saying to you, oh my God, Sag, we literally told you how to do it, but you're not listening to us. And then Nine of Wands, it's like there's some sort of energy that you need to create a boundary, a perimeter with. Again, person, place, people, thing, behavioral pattern, addiction, whatever it is. This is the one thing, or it could be a few things, take it as it fits, that is holding you back from the breakthrough. And we have a 9. So it's like you're standing on the edge of the 9, not able to step into the 10 because there's something in front of you. What do we have at the solar plexus, please? Queen of Wands. So we also saw the Queen of Wands in that cluster of cards earlier. So Queen of Swords, Queen of Wands. Now what we're seeing here is this energy of self-mastery coming through. And this is very interesting because I love this card because it shows 3 individuals, right? These are all you, Sag, and genders don't matter here. We have you sitting on the throne, right? So let's say that's you in the here and now. Then we have future you, right? A bit older. Then we have you as a young child, right? So it's like past, present, future, all converging in this very moment to allow for this breakthrough into the new timeline. And this right here perfectly highlights what I said about the inner child healing, right? Confirming everything that I'm saying here to be true. And you know, this energy here, this convergence, this has been coming up in a lot of the readings lately. I've been getting it in a lot of personals as well, but it makes perfect sense because this is really where we're at astrologically. It's all in the astrology right now. Most people are going through a version of this. You don't even have to be a Sag. It's just going to be different areas for different zodiac signs. But for you, Sag, I feel like this is something having to do with a personal breakthrough, like a personal triumph. This Queen of Wands energy is very determined, very dedicated, and I feel that this could be the result of this download, this realization that you're receiving from the divine. Hey, it could even be this reading that a lot of you listen to and it gives you that needed push, or you have some sort of light bulb moment. And this is coming out at the solar plexus. So this is all about your personal drive. There's something here that the divine is trying to get you to release, improve upon, heal, love, whatever it is, in order to get this breakthrough that you've been trying to get for yourself. What do we have at the heart, please? King of Pentacles, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn energy at the heart. This is requiring discipline from you, Sag. It's as if the divine is trying to ready you, train you for a new position, however that shows up for you. And everything that I'm channeling through up until now is touching on what is required to be able to elevate into this new position, this new timeline. Sag, I just heard sometimes the breakdown is the breakthrough disguised as chaos. That's going to mean something to somebody out there. It's as if the requirement to get this breakthrough is going to cause, I mean, I don't have it on the table, but it sounds kind of like tower energy, where there has to be a destruction to something that is not serving your highest good. This can show up many different ways. The divine wants to help you rebuild a more structured, solid, sound foundation on the ashes of the old. This is a whole new energy trying to come through for you. But no matter how we spin any of this, Sag, it still goes right back to what I said at the beginning of the reading regarding healing and sacrifice. At the very core, this, again, is the requirement. What do we have at the throat, please? 5 of Wands, wow. Just about followed what I said. There's that breaking down of something, but it's as if 5 of Wands, Leo energy, it's an energy of conflict. It can be a kind of battle. Overall, it represents challenges and obstacles that need to be overcome in order to step into this new beginning. Now, this can show up countless different ways. But just for the sake of example, this can be you having a not so healthy relationship with yourself, right? The relationship you keep with yourself, the way you talk to yourself, the way you talk about yourself, the way you show up can most certainly be a toxic relationship that some of you are in that needs to be transmuted from your life. It could be toxic influence around you. It could be toxic behavioral patterns. I feel that a lot of you are frustrated because there's some sort of setbacks or things have been moving slower than you'd like. But there's a reason for that. It's because there's some sort of energetic drag inside your auric field. I can feel it. And this Five of Wands is right there at that throat position. So really puts a lot of emphasis surrounding what I said regarding the relationship you keep with yourself, the way you communicate with yourself, talking down on yourself. Some of you, it's the other way around. You're surrounded by people like this that make you feel bad about yourself. You know what this is? It feels self-deprecating. That can be a bit of shadow Sag energy as well. This has got to change. I'm hearing it's like, it feels like you're blurring the lines between being humble and just flat out putting yourself down. And I'm starting to review what I said in regards to the inner child healing, writing a letter to yourself. I really feel that you need to do this, Sag. You know, an example, the first line could be, I'm sorry that I wasn't there for you when no one else could be, right? It's like you talking to that child that may have been neglected or overlooked. Really putting the focus on what you dealt with, though, right? We've all dealt with something. Chances are, if you had a perfect life, you probably wouldn't be listening to this reading right now. But you really want to zero in on those things and then write a letter to yourself surrounding those things. Picture yourself giving yourself a hug, almost like you're separating yourself from the child you once were as a means to truly understand what it means to heal your inner child. It still lives inside of you. It lives in every moment you live. And by focusing on that healing, it can dramatically change the way you interface with your reality in the here and now. And then right on the bottom of the deck, I have the Strength card, okay? So the Strength card is an energy of self-love, all right? So really puts a lot of weight behind what I am suggesting to all of you here. Self-love, compassion, but for that inner child. It's like by doing this, you manifest a new version of yourself. It's like going back to the future and changing the dynamics, being there for yourself, and then feeling what the results of that would be in the here and now. What do we have at the third eye, please? Nine of Wands. So we saw the Nine of Wands from this deck earlier on in the reading. Now here it is at the third eye. Okay, so Nine of Wands is shadow Sag energy as well. Okay, so this is really speaking about this perimeter, this boundary that you need to make with this energy in order to get this breakthrough. And the way you create the boundary or perimeter is by harnessing more self-confidence and more love by focusing on the core of you, that inner child. So everything is connected here. It's like you're showing up for a job interview with the divine, Sag. The divine says, okay, we can give you the job, but we need you to do this first. And you're like, okay, what do I need to do? And the divine says, we need you to go and heal your inner child. And you're like, what? What in the world does that have to do with me getting this position at Divine Headquarters? And the representative at Divine Headquarters says, because it's going to completely alter the way you show up in this space. It's going to allow you to become a more refined, more healed, just all around more empowered version of yourself when you do this. And it's going to allow you to experience a much better quality of life by doing so. And that's how we need you, Sag. We need you as the best version of yourself that you can possibly harness. And this is the requirement to get a job here at Divine Headquarters. This is very similar to what I'm feeling for you, Sag. And even on this card, right? It's like there you are. and then it's like a representative from the divine coming to take you, right, on the divine mothership. It's like they're air vacuuming you out of this timeline. And you're kind of confused, you're a little beat up. It's like you've been undercover inside some sort of karmic cycle. You forgot what you even went there to do. And now the divine is saying, hey, Sag, good job on your mission, but we're going to need you to do some healing now because you took quite a lot of hits on that timeline. 5 of Wands at the throat, 9 of Wands at the third eye. What do we have at the crown, please? Hermit, Virgo energy at the crown. A perfect card to get after everything I've said here, because this is basically the result of all of this. This is the necessary action. So you have your interview with Divine Headquarters, and you're like, okay. And then Hermit, right? So Hermit is you basically doing some soul searching. You're seeking a deeper understanding of your path, reconnecting with that inner child. That's all done when you're in hermit mode. It's all about you and your healing because, again, it's necessary to be able to access this new space that you're heading towards. You know, I'm somebody who is always focused on trying to scale up. And what this means is I'm always trying to improve something. Typically, I'm just trying to be a little better than I was, say, last month, last year. And in order to do this, I always have to sacrifice something from my life. And I've been doing this for so long now that I've just about gotten to the point where I have found myself looking around like, well, there's nothing left to sacrifice. But there always is. You can always do something better. Usually in the beginning, you're sacrificing the obvious things, right? Behavioral patterns, people, if you have addictions, all the things that are undeniable. But then as you go further down that path, you start to really hone in on the details of your life. And this is when you start to have a lot of fun with it, because it's all those real little details, like you're tweaking your life, right? You're sacrificing these little things in order to keep scaling up. And you get to the point where you have become this incredibly refined version of yourself that you only once dreamed about being or once thought was completely unattainable to achieve, right? It's like that person who knows they should probably be going to the gym. Maybe they need to lose a little bit of weight and get in shape. But there's that feeling right before you start doing it, like, I don't think I could do it. It's just too much work. But then a year down the line, they're a year into it and their life is completely turned around and they look back in complete disbelief that something came over them. They got the willpower and they pushed forward and they actually did it. This is similar to what I'm getting here. The only thing that is stopping you, the only thing that's holding you back, Sag, is the story you tell yourself. It's an outdated program that is running inside of your psyche that is telling you a lie. And make no mistake, that is not your voice. That voice is the result of being bombarded by distractions, by trauma inside of the matrix of your life. I call that an egregor. An egregor is a non-physical entity or thought form that arises from your thoughts or emotions, right? So if you have this program running in your mind, I can't do it, I can't do it. It's like that manifests into, let's just say, a spirit, a little demon, right? It becomes that voice on your shoulder. It's materialized, so to speak. And now it's this little thing that you carry around with you, the story you tell yourself. And there's not a single person on this planet that hasn't dealt with this at some point in time. In fact, most of you are probably dealing with this right now. We all have something like this. It's just a part of living inside this third density. Self-doubt, insecurity, unhealed trauma, all of this stuff is rampant in our reality. It's the war that we all fight, and it's a kind of silent war. You can't see it. And all of these things are like tentacles of the devil. This is how the devil holds us back. The devil is that little whisper that comes through when you're in the 11th hour, about to achieve something, about to pull something off. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you start to think about that thing that somebody said to you 10 years ago, that thing that maybe one of your parents told you when you were a kid that you would never be able to become. It goes on and on and on. This reality is a kind of mind war. So if you can really put all of your focus on trying to calm your mind, slow things down a little bit there, Sag. Meditation is always an excellent way to take out that mind garbage that we all collect on the daily basis. That's what meditation's for. It's to bring peace, balance, and silence. How many of you out there try to sit down and meditate, say to yourself, I can't do this. It's actually really hard. But the thing is, that means it's working, because what's happening is you sit down in that space and there's so much focus on the noise in your mind, and you don't realize that that's what meditation's all about. That noise is amplified as a means to bring silence. You need to hear the noise to bring silence. And all of that is your hermit right there at the crown, Sag. What do we have at the foundation of the reading, please? Oh, wow. Seven of Wands, Leo energy at the foundation of the reading. Just further reiterating everything I'm saying, this is an energy that wants you to give up. It's an energy that wants you to feel so overwhelmed with life, wants you to feel weighed down, that you couldn't possibly ever make a decision that is in alignment with your highest good and your highest potential. There's just no time for that, right? This is the energy I'm getting here. And in some capacity, this is what most of us deal with. We're at war with distraction. It works in this incremental way. It's almost like it goes unnoticed. We just think that that's how our life is, but it doesn't have to be that way. That is a tentacle of the underworld, the devil, right? The greatest trick the devil ever played was convincing the world he didn't exist. However, all of these things that create this distraction and resistance in our everyday lives is constructed by the devil himself. But it's constructed in a way to where you can't notice it. You just think that's how life is. But you're being called here to take control, Sag. Take a stand for yourself. Don't allow this to persist any longer. Again, whether it's external to you or it's something you're dealing with personally speaking. And I'm a firm believer that these things are directly connected anyway, because what you're usually dealing with externally has a direct influence on the relationship that you keep with yourself internally, right? It can come down to a matter of self-respect and valuing yourself enough not to deal with these external problems, which obviously has a direct effect on the relationship you actually hold with yourself. But you need to remember, Sag, that control comes from fear. Trust comes from love. When you trust that the universe has your back, things will begin to flow. You don't have to carry everything alone. And that's probably the perfect definition for the Ten of Wands, which is shadow Sag energy, right? It's that really heavy, exhausting energy that all of you carry with you, which creates energetic baggage so you can't get that breakthrough. So to simplify all of that, the universe is saying to you, God is saying to you, lay your burdens at my feet and I will give you rest. And this can be another way of speaking about transmuting heavy burdening energies, negative energies, back into the universe. What do we have at the sacral, please? Seven of Swords, Aquarius energy at the sacral. Andromalius. So this is really highlighting what I said about something coming through in the 11th hour. It's like it jumps in front of you, right? Tries to stop you from having some sort of breakthrough. And that really falls under the umbrella around what I said regarding the distraction, the chaos, all of the things that they stack up against you so you're not able to focus on what's truly important. See, our life is constructed in this very interesting way where healing is not necessarily supported. How many of you out there have gone through different awakenings in your life? You've self-improved and found that the more work you've done on yourself, the more healing you've done on yourself, the less support you have gotten from the people that you thought you would get it from. That's a hard realization to have, and that's exactly what I'm getting here, especially with this Queen of Swords right above it. It's basically saying to us that you are starting to realize that Everything that has been holding you back is everything that never wanted you to be the best version of yourself anyway. And sadly, this is going to show up as the people closest to you. And or it's a story you have been telling yourself that is the direct result of your environment, of the people that have been influencing you. And again, that's what awakening is like. You start to realize that the life you have been living is not conducive with aligning with your path, your true north. Because when you go through the process, you start to nurture that connection with your higher self, and your higher self is trying to heal you. Higher self is basically saying, hey, we're going to have to let go of this and that in order to have this breakthrough. It's not serving you. You know, something that you'll hear me mention in a lot of my readings is that when you go through this process, people feel slighted. People feel threatened, right? Spiritual matters have a way of making people that you never would have ever expected feel small because they don't understand. They just all of a sudden think that you think that you're better than everybody. And on the bottom of the deck, I have the Hermit. Okay, now the Hermit from this deck it's basically like Hermit in reverse, right? So Hermit is an energy of solitude. This Hermit is an energy of isolation. It's an energy of withdrawing from life, okay? It's like you're going the opposite way. Just kind of wasting your time here. Aging out. The years are just flying by. That's what it feels like when you are not in alignment with your true north. Your life is just flashing before your eyes. And it goes back to what I said about the way the devil works, right? He works incrementally. He wants to make sure that you are putting all your time and energy into things that have nothing to do with what you actually came here to achieve. Your mission, your destiny. He wants to waste your time and get you out of here as quickly as possible. And this is a sad reality of life. But when you think about it, it actually puts a lot of meaning behind our lives, because then we start to realize that there's tremendous importance to why we're here. Otherwise, why so much attention? Why so much emphasis on keeping all of you trapped? You know, this can be a really great way to think about all the struggles you had in your life. You know, your struggles haven't been for anything. Those struggles are directly connected to the reason why you're even here. You gather the experience from those struggles, you go through your awakening journey, and then those struggles arm you with something special on your path. A lot of chosen people build businesses for themselves out of their struggles. It's a part of your path. You help other people. It's very important that you start to understand that there's a reason behind everything that has happened on your path. It wasn't for nothing. It's for evolution's sake. The evolution of you, the evolution of the collective, the evolution of the universe. You play an incremental role. There are no accidents. The only accidents that can happen is if you don't begin to realize this and use that to empower yourself. What do we have at the solar plexus, please? 7 of Cups, Jose, Scorpio energy. So this is an energy of self-delusion. It's also an energy of escapism. It can be an energy of procrastination as well. But it really speaks about this force that's in opposition with you and your path, right? Leopard can't change its spots. Now that can certainly represent people around you that aren't willing to put in the hard work to change themselves, or it could be that story you tell yourself that makes it hard to implement the changes that you're being guided to make right now. Sag, I feel that you need to sit down with yourself and ask yourself what you can release to the universe. Let go of the need to control the outcome. Leave that to the divine. You just need to lighten your load, so to speak. This is what this really comes down to. And again, remember, any delays that you are facing right now is a direct sign from the universe that something needs to change. Something's got to go. Look deeper. Think deeper. What is it? There's an emphasis in this reading surrounding you zeroing in on whatever that may be. What do we have at the heart, please? Valak. This is the Wheel of Fortune. in its negative polarity, which is your energy, Sag, says right there, relationship strife. So that could be literal for some of you. But the Wheel of Fortune in its negative polarity, this is an energy of stress. It's an energy of being, it's like you're being controlled or manipulated by some sort of negative external force. But the negative external force could definitely be the story you tell yourself. It's something that you picked up on your path from an external place, from something external to you. This is that heavy weight, right? Those burdens. And when I see energies like this that are in direct opposition with you, and what I mean by this is you represent the Wheel of Fortune in the tarot. But the Wheel of Fortune in this deck is, it's like the opposite of the high vibrational Wheel of Fortune. So it's like the shadow Wheel of Fortune is in opposition with the high vibrational Wheel of Fortune. So it's like you're somewhere between worlds there, right? Simply put, it's saying that these principalities, this force, this energy that's in opposition with you is using your own superpower against you. There's no better way that I can put that, okay? The energy knows you and uses you against you. This could really speak about this inner child healing that I picked up on. It's like something needs to be healed there because it's creating resistance with you in the here and now. So taking the time to travel back in time, so to speak, right? Write that letter to yourself and really connect with that inner child. You know, again, I can't tell you how powerful this is. It's actually quite beautiful when you can do this because you start to think about yourself when you were a child and all the difficulties you went through. And then you start to have a deeper understanding on how that impacted the person you are today. And then we have the Five of Swords. So further reiterating everything we're saying here, because this Five of Swords is talking about termination. It's an energy of ending unhealthy relationships, whether that's with yourself or someone external to you. It's all showing up here, okay? This is causing you to have a lack of progress in one or more areas of your life. This is why you can't get the breakthrough, because this thing, these things, whatever it is, has to go. What do we have at the throat, please? Knight of Wands at the throat. So what we're seeing here now is this get up and go kind of energy from you, Sag. There's a lot of drive. There's a lot of passion and confidence. You're finally taking action in one or more areas of your life. It's like you've had a light bulb moment. I think I mentioned that earlier on in the reading. Again, could be this channeling that we're doing here that triggers something, but I'm seeing a big change, and it's right after you have terminated this energy from your life. And I feel that what it takes to be able to do this is perspective. You need to see something from a different perspective, which is really what we're trying to get you to do here now. But it works. You start to recognize the principalities that have been at play here. You start to think about the energy of things. You start to think about things in a much deeper way than you once did, which triggers the breakthrough and some sort of necessary discernment and wisdom to be able to step into this new timeline. The divine needs you to see something, needs you to shift your perception in order to break away from the chains that bind. What do we have at the third eye, please? Ah, perfect. Death card, Mumia. God, the end of the universe. Endings and rebirth. Influences health and longevity. So the death card, this is all about, well, an ending and a rebirth, okay? Endings and beginnings. And there's a sand clock here, so it's like you're starting to recognize what has been stealing your time, the thief of time, right? The devil is the thief of time, but the devil shows up in many different sectors of your life. The devil can be a behavioral pattern. The devil can be something that you tell yourself. The devil can show up in the people around you, and on and on and on. It's an energy, but this is you understanding this now. And then this is right underneath the Nine of Wands, so you're creating a perimeter, a boundary with this energy. You know, the Death card is the phoenix rising out of its own ashes. So we mentioned something earlier on in the reading about the divine helping you build a more stable, sound foundation, right? On the ashes of the past. This is that energy here. And then we have the Tower on the bottom of the deck, Mars, Aries, Scorpio energy. So I think we mentioned the Tower earlier on in the reading. I felt it. But I love what it says on this one because it says disruption, warns of disasters, aids in transformation. And it's like you're getting a memo. You're like, oh my God, I didn't even see it like that. Right? So this is really that perspective shift. You see something different now. That's that light bulb moment. What do we have at the crown, please? 10 of Pentacles, Virgo energy to close out the reading. Amazing. The honorable God, inner and outer work, helps one keep their job, protects against disasters. So I'm thinking back to what I said about you having an interview with divine headquarters, okay? It's like you get the job, right? Whatever that means for you. And the 10 of Pentacles, it's one of the wealthiest cards in the tarot. It's an energy of affluence. It's all connected to a legacy that you leave behind. And this is all the result of what you are being called to implement in the here and now. These changes, right? It all results in this. And there's not many cards that we could have asked for that are better than the 10 of Pentacles to end this spread. This is the logical conclusion to everything that we've channeled through here. So whatever this represents for you, Sag, you end up getting, okay? But there's some things here that need to be addressed. And you should have enough of an idea, after hearing me channel all this through for you, of what that may be. Sag, this is the message I have available to all of you, depending on where you are on this timeline, should you choose to accept. I'm going to go ahead and leave it here. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you would like a personal reading, you can find all of my contact details in the description below this video. And thank you for your donation, Sag. Take care.